Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Today I am working with this sketch, and it is from the Redefined Creative Facebook page, and that is a public page, and you can play along weekly. There's a Thursday sketch of the week, and this one's from a couple weeks back. But if you go over to that Facebook group and check out what their Thursday sketch of the week is, you can enter your layout and possibly win a prize. So actually I did win a prize for this one. I haven't received it yet, but I am really excited to get something that I didn't expect, and I'm curious to see what I get. So that should be a lot of fun. So rather than having 2 photos like the sketch calls for, I have 3 photos, and I am just going to use that bottom right hand square where the journaling is to house my 3rd photo. These are 4-H photos of my kids, and they are helping out at the 4-H Harvest Festival in our area. And as part of the puppet project, they were helping some of the kids in the community to make paper bag puppets. So I wanted to make sure I got that documented in their 4-H albums, and I think this paper worked out perfectly. There's always tons of green in 4-H, so I'm always looking for stuff to work with that. And so the green paper is the backside of one of the Paige Evans papers. I think it's from Horizon, otherwise it would be from Whimsical. And then the floral paper that you see to the right there is from Rosie's Studio, and I won that from a challenge that was over at Confessions of a Paper Addict when they were first opening their Etsy store. So the greens in it are just the perfect greens to match the background paper, so that's what I'm using. I am die cutting these white squares because the sketch shows the 2 squares opposite each other having this kind of bracket look to the edge, and so I'm going to actually piece this piece together under this photo. I could have cut a piece that was, the full length, but I already had the photo matted, totally forgetting that I needed to have that bracket edge on it, and so I just used an offcut, and that seemed to work fine. I'm going to use this stencil. I think this is a Kaisercraft stencil, and I'm using the Picket Fence life-changing brushes, and I'm going to apply some of this white, it's Moonlight White Brilliance pigment ink. And I just want a hint of this floral. I don't want it to be overwhelming, and I'm going to do it in the 2 opposite corners of the pieces that have that bracket cut on it. And it's just really simple and light, and it works out really well. So the brushes work fantastic to clean them. I have one of my stamp, it's like the stamp cleaner thing that you open up and it has like the fuzzy pad inside. I have that, and it's just damp, and so I just rub the brush on it and then rub it on white paper to make sure I got all of the ink off. You can also use like your stamp chamois to clean it, or a paper towel or whatever. So this is, I think, maybe my 2nd time using these brushes, or maybe my 3rd time. They work really well, and everything goes on really smoothly, especially over stencils that have a lot of little small bits and pieces that sometimes kind of get caught up in the foam of a blending pad. So I'm really enjoying using them, and I highly recommend them. When I get to the photo, or the space where the title is in the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to end up having to switch out that paper. I thought it was going to work out fine, but then I didn't like that it was a little bit shorter than the one in the bottom right-hand side. And you see that piece that has the heart cut out. I'm just covering up the heart. I really just want the background or the border of it, and so just covering it up, not going to worry about it. And once I get all of those matted, I will go over to my die cut machine and die cut a circle out of the floral paper that's on the left hand side. And I used one of the stitched circles for that because the bracket one that I cut also has a stitched effect on the edge, and so I wanted to keep that looking the same, and I actually like the little detail that it adds to it. And it really doesn't matter, you know, if your circle fits perfectly. You can always trim it off. I cut a piece that was a little bit too large. No big deal. We're just going to cut it off and it'll fit perfectly. Now the piece that I kind of extended, I'm just gluing it down so that it doesn't kind of roll up under the edge of the photo and make it look like there's two pieces of paper there. I want them to kind of laminate together and so that it doesn't like pop up and make it look like I did Frankenstein this paper together. So, and now because it's a grid, I think that everything has to be perfectly aligned. So out comes the T-square ruler. I do like things lined up. There are a lot of times that I do layouts that have things that are slightly off kilter or a little bit askew, and in those cases it's intentional. But when it's a grid layout, there's something about it. I just have to pull out the T-square ruler and things have to line up perfectly. And you can see there that piece that I'm trying to lay down now, it was not long enough. It was not even as wide as the picture below it, so I swapped it out. And with the magic of YouTube, you didn't have to watch me do that. And then I'm going to lay down this border piece, and I am going to cut a couple of those flags to match the floral paperwork, or the floral pattern paper that's below it. And what I did is I took it over to my sewing machine, which is right next to me, and I just ran a stitch through the top of it so that the stitch will line up with the stitch that is on the little banner pieces there, so it looks like it's supposed to be there. I didn't go through all the trouble of actually trying to sew it onto the banner piece. I thought that would be really difficult, and I didn't want to try and mess with that, so I just ran a stitch through them, and I'm just going to glue them on, and it works out perfectly. You can't tell at all, and it looks really cute. And I'm not doing every piece. I'm only doing a couple of the pieces that are off of the floral because I want them to pop up and I want them to have kind of a matching effect to it. But if I put the floral pieces over the circular floral piece there, my goodness, that was a tongue twister, then it's going to blend in too much. So I'm just going to put those little extra pieces on a couple of the flags that are not on top of the floral. So, and I am also putting these on dimensional foam, and this is, I have two different heights or depths is not the right word, two different heights of dimensional foam. This is the one that is not as thick, and it's really hard to get the plastic off of it. It's actually double-sided foam that I got from a friend of mine. She got a huge roll, and actually the roll over to the right hand side, that is it. That's the foam right there, all rolled up. She got a huge roll, and so she just cut off a bunch of pieces for a bunch of the girls in our group that hang out together and scrapbook together. So, but it is much more difficult to get the foam or the plastic backing off of the foam piece. So it takes a little bit of extra effort than using like fun foam or something like that. Now my title is just going to be 4-H Harvest Festival. This is the first year that we were in 4-H and the first year that we did the Harvest Festival. Well, I take that back. This is the second year we were in 4-H because we joined right as the Harvest Festival. We joined in September, and the Harvest Festival is like the first weekend in October. So we didn't do it the first year because we didn't really know anything about it. So this is the second year, and I think we did this for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years in a row. I don't know what my title's going to be for all those other years. but this being the first one, it's just going to be called 4-H Harvest Festival. These are the little tiny thickers that I think are from one of the Paige Evans collections. When you purchase them, one side is white and the other side is navy blue, and I use them for a lot of stuff. They're a great size, not too big. And then I have this black box that has a whole bunch of embellishments, all in black and white. And so I've pulled that out. I'm going to cut the edge off of this journaling piece because it's kind of a geometric design and doesn't match at all. And then I will back it with some of that floral paper that is on the upper left-hand side. And that's where I'm going to add my journaling, and then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine across those two corners that have the embellishment clusters, and that's pretty much going to do it. So stick around for the close-ups. You'll see more of the layout in the close-ups. I'm sorry I'm a little bit off screen there, so hopefully you will be able to see it in the close-ups. Oh, I totally forgot I did add these little heart buttons. So I add one on this side with the banner and one on the bottom right-hand side. And I put a little bit of black and white baker's twine through it, and that finishes it off. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.